Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling, shall we see what's going on our lovely little island Fawnhollow today in a very short turnover, I suppose, between episodes. Actually, is that a short turnover? 14 hours? Probably. When do I normally record them? I guess they're normally about 24 hours apart. You can tell I'm a bit more tired, I suppose, today after yesterday, unsurprisingly, being a whole day of doing kind of stuff. Even my back kind of hurts, you know. You get like a sharp pain around your, I'm not sure, nape? Like to the left of nape? I don't know my biological terms or whatever. When you apply pressure to it, it feels a bit achy breaky heart. Hello everyone, right now in Fawnhallow, it's 3:32 PM on Saturday, May 29th, 2021. No big announcements today. Did I did change my clock forward again. I've got a time travel backwards, forgot time travel forwards. Of course, today's Saturday, Bruce has moved out, so we are going to be doing the only thing we know how to do, which is some island hopping, as soon as Timmy and Tommy have finished talking to us. Yeah, you ever go back when you done stuff a whole day when your whole body just aches? So I'm not going to say exhausted, I suppose fatigued, I suppose, from yesterday, which is not a bad thing. And besides this, it's just like, it was a absolutely fun time. I'm just, you know, you feel the fallout of it afterwards. Eek, burrito, this is one of my favourite food, one of my favourite tops of all time. It's bold, it's colourful, it's fashion and gold. Just imagining you as me squeaking with delight. So much so, I gave myself a headache, burrito. Ah! What are you know, you ever think about how different people are? Some people will just be like, oh man, I had a whole day of like partying and having great fun yesterday, you know, today, got to do it all over again. That's what keeps me energized. That's like, from my introverted mindset, mind-boggling. Not really that mind-boggling, to be honest. It's more just like oh, that's what it is. But, of course, people are different. But I suppose for my own experiences, I'll be like, man, I'd just be exhausted if it was like someone else's birthday today. Well, I mean, obviously it's someone else's birthday, and what I mean, someone else's birthday I know of today. So yes, we're going to have a low-key day today as we do some Nook Mile Island hopping, looking for, of course, the golden 4 that we have to complete my top 10, well, not top 10 favourites, well, kind of top 10 favourites. I've never actually thought about who my favourite Animal Crossing villages are. Did I do Nook Mile ticket? Yeah, I must have. So we're looking for Biscuit, we're looking for Fauna, we're looking for Phoebe, and we're looking for someone else who I can't remember, Apollo. If we get them or not, I don't know. But since we have so many Nook Mile tickets compared to usual, instead of doing the usual walk up to them, talk to them, we're going to run up, see who it is, and then leave. Because that is significantly faster. So that is Octavian. I forget his name. He's a bit of a cranky octopus. Ready to go home. What should we talk about today? I don't know. I was of course watching normal island stream because that's kind of what I do when I'm too tired to like play games or something. Oh, to be fair, I did play a bit of Binding of Isaac Rebirth today. I unlocked Tainted Azazel and Tainted Lazarus. Didn't manage to be the beast. Unfortunately, I died on the runs, but you know, that's just how it goes. That will make no sense to you unless you play when you're Binding of Isaac. What was I saying? Oh yeah, no, because I was watching some NL streams. He was talking about this game, which I think he played in his most recent stream, but I didn't watch his most recent stream. I only finished watching a VOD from a stream for like 2 or 3 days ago of a game called, what's it called, like Deepest Sword, which, yes, by the way, that the title of the game is an innuendo, as intentionally so. It's apparently a game, it was built for one of the game jams, Ludum Dare, I think, or Ludum Dare. I don't actually know if it's Ludum Dare or Ludum Dare, because I heard people say both, and I don't know if it's meant to be some sort of ironic thing. Oh, you are I was going to say like Balfrog, that's not right. You start with B. Oh, I can't summon your name. It doesn't really matter though. We've got no time. We've got to keep going. Mush. So yeah, it's a double entendre for a video game title. It was one of a, I think it was Ludum Dare. I'm going to call it Ludum Dare because that sounds so much cooler. Ludum Dare sort of game, which is you get like, I can't remember how much time, 72 hours or something, to create a game. And as I understand it, it's sort of like a Getting Over It style, where you've got like you're not ascending a mountain, you're just getting to the end, but you've got like a massive like unwieldy sword or something. You like swing it around and you got to hop over things. And it's a game where I think it's for free on itch.io. I haven't checked it out or whatever. I might just watch and I'll play it instead. But yeah, I don't know. All these game jam games are quite cute. These little things which people upload to itch.io. There must be like millions of like these little fun experiences you can have that people have released for free because they've built it for a quick game jam or something of similar of that ilk. And with that, you have a lot of fun experiences you could be potentially missing out on for free if you don't go trawling through itch.io for things like that. You are, I can't remember your name, but I'm sorry, we don't have time. I'm 0 for free. No, Octillery, isn't it? Is either Octillery or Octavie? Not Octavius? Doesn't sound right. The Animal Crossing Villagers. But she's like Tyra or something. I can't remember. I don't think I even know her name. Yeah, what was I saying? There's a lot of cool games on there. And I was thinking about it was because there's a Black Lives Matter bundle. By the way, Black Lives do matter. Just to get that out there. On itch.io bundle for like racial justice and inequality, something like that, and it had like 1,000 or something games. Okay, not all of them were games, but more like projects that were uploaded to itch.io. Large majority of games, some of them being like 1 or 2 hour experiences made by like small, I guess by definition indie devs, but probably more like solo devs or tiny teams or whatever, just wanting to make a small gaming experience. Put it on itch.io or whatever, and you know, they released it for either like pennies or for free or something, and it's all tied neatly together in this little bundle. And you know, one thing I want to do is I want to sort of just like trawl through that bundle, and like I already picked out quite a few games from there. Oh, it's a wolf. Ah. It's Lobo, sorry, not Wolfgang. Wolfgang's the other one. You are super cool, but we already have 2 wolves on the island, and apparently I have a no more than 2 rule. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to pass on you. Yeah, I really want to like trawl through that bundle. Well, I've trawled through it once, picking out like game titles I recognise because I told some of my friends about it, and I was like, oh, maybe you should check it out if you want. And I picked out like cool games which like are well known about something, but of course there's a lot of games through that bundle which are far less known, you know, like indie devs. Like one of my favourite ones I saw was something called like three lesbians in a burrow or something, and I was just like, what is this? And I clicked on it. It seemed to be a visual novel, so you know, actually my sort of thing. Like a comedic one from what I can see. I don't really know, but I'm just saying this. And oh, there's also this another really cute looking game I saw where you play like I think it's like a frog ballerina, but it like had a very like artsy Gris like, Gris like being like the game Gris, not like Grizzly I suppose, art style, which I was like, oh. And it got me thinking at the time, and now again I suppose as I'm rethinking about it, there's so many nice little games out there which, you know, I could thoroughly enjoy. Oh, you are like Eloise or something? No, Eloise is the yellow one, right? Yellow elephant. Maybe you're Jade, I can't remember. That I'm missing out on just because they're not well known, you know? Unsurprisingly, they're not well known because they're not probably a team with a huge marketing bucket? No, what's the word? Budget, that's the word. To be able to spread the word over their video game, or maybe their video game's got a bit of a niche appeal. They're still indie or solo dev, so it's quite hard for indie solo dev to get quite the same level of polish as even bigger studios do. Or indie studios and that sort of thing. So, unsurprisingly, maybe their game doesn't get so well known, but they can still be enjoyable experiences all the same, you know. Especially if you're solo or in a very small team, without necessarily the huge pressure to, you know, appeal to the mass market and make as many sales as possible to hit the numbers. They're free to experiment a little bit more. They can do things a bit more daringly, you know, without public scrutiny, which I was thinking about that with Deepest Sword, because apparently the whole game is about innuendo. Like, if you don't know what an innuendo is, then you might be too young for me to explain, but if you do... it's Lolly! No! There's so many pretty villagers, cute villagers. I had Lolly in New Leaf, I think. I don't know if she's still in my village, and it's been a while since I played New Leaf, so... Yeah, like the whole thing's innuendo, swinging around a big sword, like even at the end. There's like a dragon with fierce eyelashes or whatever, and you stab her with your sword, and if you can't see the subtext in that, then I'm not going to explain it to you, I suppose. or keep it PG, shall we say. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like if that was in a AAA title, you'd probably get... Well, one, it would never be in a AAA title unless it was a video game centered around that sort of like aesthetic. Like, I know Catherine? I don't know if Catherine's really centered around that. I don't know other games. I'm sure you can fill in the gaps yourself. Because the marketing, not marketing, but the amount of backlash I'd imagine they get for having something so lewd, quote quote. In fact, it's not really about lewd. It's more just like a lewd humor or something. But bigger companies won't even want to risk that sort of thing, you know. But you can see that with solo devs and small devs, they can do weird stuff. Oh, you're like Leopold or something? I forget. And that's always exciting. Like, I always like interesting mechanics in games, you know. Even small things like I think one of the few coolest mechanics I can think of, like is this fighting game called Them's Fighting Herds. You might have heard of it. It's a okay fighting game from what I can tell. I don't really play many fighting games. It's like Skullgirls might be the only one I've played a decent amount of, but this is like made from the same engine because, I don't know, long story short, it used to be a My Little Pony Fighting is Magic video game, but then, you know, Hasbro bought the cease and desist for it, so then Lauren Faust made the original director, I guess, of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, created some original characters for them to use, and now it's a full-fledged game, which is super cool to see, by the way. And, of course, I bought it. I think it was part of a Humble Bundle, maybe I bought it, I don't really remember. But it has probably the coolest mechanic I've ever heard of in a game, which is in a fighting game. Every single character, it has quite a small roster, which is why I can do it. It's got like 7 or so. Every single stage, sorry, has its own theme, of course, music theme, not surprising. Every single character have their own motif. Like there's this Ice Deer, she has very like sort of wintry sounds of like sleigh bells and twinkly noise, very graceful sounds. And then there's like this what the heck you can get? I forgot you can get message in the bottles on the island. There's this like southern lolly again. What? This is like southern cowgirl, literal cow girl, who's got like a sort of like rock-esque elements of a bit of country twang to it. So we've got like these motifs or whatever, and they've got their own themes as well. And then as you fight out on the stage, their motifs of the two characters you're fighting against, say in this case I was talking about Arizona and Velvet, the two characters I just aforementioned, they're fighting on the stage, the music will be like intermingled with their own motifs. And then as one side starts winning, their motif in the song becomes even stronger. So say like Velvet was starting to beat Arizona quite a lot, so i.e. Icy Reindeer started to beat country southern rock cowgirl a lot more. The icy elements start like becoming more prominent and well, that sort of thing, and it switches to her theme rather than Arizona's theme, which is, and then I think there might be some like variations of her dominating, or there's a comeback or something, and in the final round there's like even more layers on top of it. So it's basically a dynamic music system which depends on the character's health. Like whoever's winning will have a stronger theme playthrough, and it changes for every single stage, and it changes with every single character. So that means if with every single pair, you're like Tybolt or something, I forget. Every single pair of characters of matches you can have will have a different theme on every single one of the stages, and you can sort of like remix it yourself, I suppose, by depending on who's winning in the entire fight. And I was just like, when I first saw about it, because of course as a small dev they have their own like blog dev post when they're developing the game, about these sort of not instances, mechanics they were putting in, and I was like, this is the coolest idea I've ever heard of in a video game. It's such a small like little detail which doesn't mechanically add anything to the game, but really adds to the atmosphere of the game. You know, you think how awesome it would be to be playing your character and you're just like, oh, you're beating the crud out of someone. You'd be like, your main's theme is kicking in, you know, sort of like amping you up and hyping you along, being like, look at you, you're winning. It's such a cool idea, and it's so perfect for a fighting game. Of course, it's not very feasible to put into a lot of other fighting games, because a lot of other fighting games, they like to toot their horns about having a huge range of characters to be able to play. Not many fighting games can get away with having such a small cast. So Fighting's Magic, it's not Fighting's Magic, Them's Fighting Herds, you are Pango, something like that, has like 8 characters. So of course, you know, if you think about it, every single character needs like their main theme and then a separate theme for every single stage, and then we need to make sure it sort of works with every single other character. That's a huge amount of testing, a huge amount of soundtracks you need to make, which is not feasible, and it's only going to get increase as the amount of stages and characters go up. So I hope we can deal with that. I don't know if they're releasing more DLC characters. They recently released a new DLC character, didn't they? Like Shanti, that's her name. He's like a pirate goat. I haven't played it since then, but it seems kind of cool. Yeah, so that's one of my favourite mechanics. Another favourite mechanic I had is in a game called Oxenfree, which is I'm not sure, it's sort of like a thriller-esque horror sort of aesthetic story-based game based around this girl called Alex, I think she goes to an island with a group of her friends, and it's about weird mystery sort of things which happen, and you know it starts to get like very, not meta necessarily, but like off the wall weird. I don't know how to describe it, but it's like, if I go too far into it, you'll probably get spoiled. You should play it. But what they have is sort of a similar thing. Instead of music, it's with conversation. They have a, I don't know how to describe it, except for it's sort of a, you are, I know your name, but I can't think of it right now. Like a dynamic conversation system to make the conversations feel a lot more unique, because especially when you find a lot of story-based games, the characters just have like a back and forth. But it's very literally back and forth. It's just like one character speaks, next character speaks, one character speaks again. And it's not very context sensitive, and as sensitive in cutscenes, it's very curated. So it plays more like a movie, which feels a little bit unnatural in some aspects. Oxenfree wants to sort of simulate a much more natural flowing dialogue. So if I remember, characters like sometimes stumble over words and that sort of things. If they joke around, you can tell the characters have a pretty good bond of that sort of thing, and the conversation flows naturally. And what's even more interesting is the characters will interrupt themselves and interrupt each other. Like, there'll be like an ambient conversation going on between two characters, and if you're the main character and you like see something really cool and you interact with it, the character Alex will be like, oh, hold on a sec, guys. Sorry to interrupt your conversation. Look at this. What's this weird thing? And the other characters like walk over and look over and be like, oh, that's kind of weird. What's that? And they talk about it for a bit. And then if it's like something where you just carry on from, you just walk off. And then the other characters will resume the conversation being like, okay, anyway, back to what I was saying before. And it's just like, oh, that's such a cool concept. Like, it's not perfect, mind you. There's it doesn't go entirely smoothly sometimes, and you are, I know your name as well. I can't think of it. And I was like, oh, these little mechanics are super cool, which obviously must take a huge amount of time to invest into and actually make, because you know, you had to make sure that the conversations, one, flow naturally, and then two, you have to develop some sort of system for interjections, and then three, interjections have to be smooth and that sort of thing. And you know, there's a lot of potential ways it can go wrong. It's like having a game with loads of different systems in which all interact with each other. A lot of the times, not necessarily they can fail, but they can get their wires crossed and ruin the experience. But I suppose with smaller scale games of that, and they can afford to do much more risky things of that sort of thing. These indie games, that sort of thing. So, I mean, that's the whole concept behind game jams and that sort of thing, like Ludum Dare and I know Game Maker's Toolkit, I think, have their own game jam, which is super cool. Actually, their game jam is super cool as well, because while Ludum Dare and all those sort of things that just have like generic make a game in X amount of time, like 48 hours, 72 hours, as far as I know, the person who runs the game jam for Game Maker's Toolkit is person who's really into like video game design himself. I don't know if he actually makes games. You are Pearl or something like that. No, you're not Pearl. That's a different cat. No, I actually can't remember your name. So he often has thematic game jams where each of the game jams will follow a singular theme which everyone has to adhere to, but you can interpret it multiple ways. Like I'm trying to think what some of the previous ones are, because I can't remember the exact titles, but one of them was something like it's not like double-edged sword power-ups or something like that, but that's the sort of idea. Is like you have mechanics which maybe it's called like overloaded mechanics or something, a mechanic which does multiple things. So like one of the games I remember was like, quite a common one was often it'd be a game where you shoot, but shooting is also your only way to move because of through the recoil of a gun. That's not you say that word. A gun, and that's how you traverse a level. So that's how you attack. But if you attack, you might launch yourself into some dangerous territory at the same time. So it's sort of like a balancing act between the two things. And I was like, oh, well, you know, these are cool ideas. I believe that was inspired by one of those games. Oh, I can't remember. You're Naomi, I think. I don't know how that came to mind. It's inspired by one of the games where it's like you're falling downwards, and then your jump button also shoots downwards as well, or something. But there's a lot of few games. It's been a while since I saw the winners of that sort of thing, but it was cool like that. There's another one where it was just like a one button control thing, or it was like just one. I think that was the theme, and it was like just one what. And a lot of people took it different ways. Like some people just had like just one button. I think that was like most common thing. Like your control scheme, you only had one button, so you're like timing based or something. I don't really know. Another one is I think the coolest one I remember from that was like a tower defense game where you only get one tower. So basically, instead of being like building up your defenses and letting the game like automatically play like you might in Toons, was it Bloons Tower Defense, not Toons? You only have one tower, and there's a constant juggling act of being able to having to pick up your turret and put stuff down again. And they also, you know, by itself that would be kind of boring, but they have this interesting mechanic in where they have crystals spawning around the map, which you have to run and collect, because that's how you get currency. You don't get currency for killing mobs in the game, and then you can upgrade your tower, that sort of thing. So you're encouraged to like run around. I can't remember your name, Mallory maybe. Like put down your turret wherever enemies are, like run and get some crystals and come back and move it to wherever your enemies have moved off to now again. It's like a nice little juggling act. I was like, you know, this is what you like to see from game jams and things like that. Cool little mechanics, which I'm not sure if that could sustain a whole game, mind you. Maybe you could if you put some more like towers into it, or actually I think that's what he might have suggested, put more towers into it and you can flesh it out a bit more into a full game. But it certainly sustain like a nice little experience, a short experience I suppose, contained within like those itch.io sort of games. And that's, you know, the coolest part about it is basically what it's coming down to. Cool mechanics which maybe not necessarily suitable for an entire game. So I keep moving around a lot because I'm like using a lot of hand gestures to explain what I'm saying. Obviously you can't see them. This reminds me, I was meant to do like this make like a VTuber style avatar or something with it at one point, and never got around to it, but I did look into it a while back. Things are busy, you know. Things are always busy. Whenever things not busy, you just got to make good time for it. Sorry, I was just interjecting a bit of life advice. Yeah, and I had a lot of other things. Like another one was quite a common theme. Oh, you are Takoyaki Man. That's not your name. I should know your name, but I can't remember it. Oh, I suddenly feel so tired. I feel like a wave of exhaustion just randomly hit me there. I'll just close my eyes as we do this. I'll play completely by sound. We need to make sure we check the Nick tower now, actually. I'll probably do that off camera, maybe. It was quite a common element to have like a gun, but you only have one bullet in the game you play. So you had to like shoot the bullet, and you had to go recollect it again, shoot it again, and you had to defeat like waves of enemies or something like that. I was like, that's pretty cool. All superly fun stuff like that sort of thing. I think that was the one where it was like a sort of a puzzle platformer game you had, where you're basically a cannon, where you shoot yourself and use a recoil of your cannon to launch yourself. But the thing is, you only have one cannonball. So essentially, each level you've only got one shot, except if the cannonball bounces back and hits a cannon again, it reloads, giving you another shot. So it was a puzzle platformer game about finding the right angle, where you launch yourself, get the cannonball to ricochet just perfectly off, and hit you again. And then so you can get another shot and readjust your trajectory about something. I was like, you know, that's super cool. That one probably could. Oh, you're not Elmo, you're Bronco? I don't know. I'm figuring out all these names, and I don't even know if they're correct or not. I gotta imagine I've got about 3 out of 20 or something so far, which is not a good track record, but it is a track record, I suppose. Oh, excuse me. A bit tired. Yeah, no, interesting game mechanics. So I can vibe with them. They're sort of thing that keeps me going. Well, not keeps me going, as in like they're like my sole existence. They're just more like I like to see them. You know, who doesn't like to see them? Who doesn't like to see cool game mechanics at all? I can't imagine there's someone sitting there being in game and be like, don't like see any cool mechanics. I don't know, maybe. I mean, I say it that way, but I guess you could phrase it different when you like to see you like what you like. You don't want you don't need any innovations. I should say on whatever formula that you like. You want more of that same formula. Fair enough, you know. Just saying, there's probably a lot of different clones out there of popular different games which can give you similar sort of things, you know. I'd imagine a lot of indie devs have been inspired by games they like and want to put their own spin and improvements on it, you know. Just like Bug Fables. I know you. I don't remember your name though. So many cats. I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, just like Bug Fables was the team behind it, Moonsprout Games. They were inspired by Paper Mario, unsurprisingly. They sort of like wear that on the sleeve, but they wanted to improve upon it. And one part that they did improve on was like the partying system, because in Paper Mario the characters don't really have much depth. You've got Mario, who is a silent protagonist, and you got each of the companions who like join you for the party, and then for their chapter they've got their story, and then it revolves, and then they basically are non-existent for the rest of the game, which is a bit of a shame because there's not much sense of progression to the story. It's like, I guess the progression's entirely contained within one chapter. Then instead of just like leaving you, they join you and they just become a mechanical partner in your battles. I guess with exceptions of like Goombaru and Goombella, who I guess have a tattle ability kind of, which keeps it a little bit interesting, but still. And that's what they change with Bug Fables. They have the 3 characters that you get all reasonably early on, then you stay as a free for the entire story. They all bounce off each other. There's really good like party dynamics between them. And I'm talking about this because oh, you are I don't Annabelle? No, you're not Annabelle. Annabelle's an anteater. You're something like Annabelle, but you're not Annabelle. Yeah, the party dynamic is very interesting because this is a video about Design Dog, who's also Game Maker's Toolkit, I think. The same guy who I'm talking about a lot. So I do like my video game essayist or video game designer analysis YouTubers. Made a video about it recently about party dynamics, and when I saw the video game title, the first thing that came to mind was like Bug Fables has a really good party dynamic because all 3, there's not a single main character in Bug Fables. You might argue it would be Vi, or V, as apparently her name is pronounced, because she's a bee. That's not really the case because all V, Kaboo, and Nath all get like equal time in the spotlight. It's just V is a character you play first and that sort of thing, but they all feel like a main character, so it's not. You don't have a main character in the game, you have a main group, I suppose, which really just like hones in with the team and party mechanic, which I feel like is what party mechanics should feel like. They should feel like there's a close bond. You should feel not necessarily like every character is your favourite character, but you should very much. Oh, Sylvana! We're gonna talk to Sylvana. It just makes me so sad they don't recognise you. I don't know if our Sylvana moved in anywhere. Sylvana, we know you. You don't remember us? So sad. Wonder what happens if, like, we invited a new Sylvana in, but our old Sylvana moved in somewhere else. That'd be strange, to make up friends with 2 Sylvanas. They should remember you. You know what they could do? The game just could keep a running check if your characters have received their photo or not. And if they received your photo, they would just remember you next time you meet with them or something. Meet an instance of them. Wouldn't that be awesome? So much potential. Anyway, yeah, so I don't know. I'm obviously never going to make a game in my life, probably. I mean, I guess never say never, but it's not really my sort of thing. I guess designing or perhaps creating art for a game I see feasible. Programming, if it's a simple game, like I could program a story game. I would love games with really strongly connected party mechanics like that. Something like it's a one thing I was going to say, is he talked about in the video the concept of like the relationship web, kind of, and he didn't phrase it like that, but basically the party all needs a reason to be there for each other. They all have like certain relationships, like pre-formed bonds, I suppose. I don't remember what your name is, and that's what keeps it like engaging and basically gives each member a reason to be travelling along with a party. But not every character needs an initial bond with every other character. So instead of having like an interconnected, a complete graph, I suppose, if you were to use mathematical terms, you have more like a food web, I suppose, but it's a relationship web of all the different character parties. And it's an interesting thing because it applies to like D&D as well, as I've read, you know. I think I talked about this multiple times before. Interested in becoming a DM for my friends and maybe running a campaign at some point. Quite a ways off, although to be fair, the pandemic's on its tail end, hopefully. So maybe in-person meetups will be feasible again. But it was I browsed like Reddit for D&D and D&D Next. And there was this interesting discussion about how this person always wants, when they have parties, they tell the party, okay, every single one of you needs to have one previous relationship, not like lover relationship, but some sort of feasible bond. I know your name. I think it starts with E, but I can't remember. With another character in the party. You don't need to have a bond or a way of relating yourself to every person in the party, but just at least one other person, because that sort of gives you a sort of glue a reason to stick together, and basically you should be able to draw a path from one party member to another party member, or not necessarily like that. That's not wrong, but basically every party member needs another party member in the party as a reason to sort of stick around. Wow, we went through like none of the tickets. I might do some off screen, I might not, I don't know. We'll see how it goes, and if no one's moved in by tomorrow, I guess we'll just keep doing some more Nook Mile Island hopping, because that's what I like doing. Yeah, doing that, and then what was I going to say? I forgot. Gives a nice basis, I suppose, for party members to really talk and explore with each other, because otherwise, a lot, like, you know, it's a common thing, like, oh my god, it's like an edgy rogue. He likes to stay by himself, he doesn't like to talk with anyone, he doesn't trust anyone. Okay, why is he travelling around with a group of 6 people then? In an adventure party? Oh, he secretly likes them for some reason, I don't know. So that seems mildly out of character. You know, with this way, he's like, oh, he's actually, you know, he was saved by the paladin in the party when he was much younger. They've formed a lifelong bond, but they've been recently separated, and only recently have they been reunited again, and he doesn't... He's staying for his sake when he's secretly watching out for him, but actually the paladin's watching out for a rogue and getting him to open up or something, and like, boom, wow. Interpersonal relationships. Isn't that fun? Oh my god, it's been 31 minutes. Okay, well, that was our final Nook Mile Island hopping. We still have 22 different tickets to use, which... yeah, as I say, might use off camera, might not, don't know. If I don't, then I guess you'll find out tomorrow. But otherwise, if I don't do it off tomorrow and no one moves in tomorrow, we'll do some more Nook Island hopping. And I'll have a nice conversation again about, I don't know, whenever I feel like. Nook Island hopping is fantastic because I can just talk non-stop for half an hour about things I'm very interested in. Video game design, stories. Yeah, so we're just gonna check a Nook Mile terminal just so we can get this stuff. I don't know if we've got a very quick and easy to do Nook Mile mission, but I might do a bit more island hopping, might not. But for now, if you have been watching, thank you very much. This has been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, all greatly appreciated. Links down below. I hope we can see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now. Wait. Bye-bye for now. What should I name this game? This video, I don't know.